During the Cold War, the opposing forces of East and West were staring at each other from across no man's land, while for years training and preparing for World War III. And it's interesting that both sides seem to have agreed upon the opening scenario of this war, being namely that the Russians would roll forward in waves of thousands of main battle tanks, quickly pushing the Allied armies backwards to their pre-positioned positions, awaiting the time when the war would then turn nuclear. The Allies' way of defense was to vend terrain from covered positions, tow missiles, manned Dragon teams with man pads, and tanks lying in ambush. This is why, for instance, the German Leopard 1 is so poorly armored, although it doesn't explain why it's so poorly armored to the front. It was not designed for open field tank-on-tank warfare. It was designed to shoot and scoot. Now, the Russians' established tactic was a series of detailed operations and, above all, offensive in mass. The Soviets had no intentions of fighting a war on their own land again, so they established a large conscript army with huge masses of material and men based on centralization, as opposite to the West, where, for instance, a battalion would be tasked with several missions. A Soviet battalion was one, with one united goal, directed, centralized, based on pre-planned, very detailed plans, and with contingency plans as well, of course. A Soviet battalion would act in unison under one commander, whom you would hope would be really good, as a lot of trust would be based on him. In a Western battalion, there might even be tasks all the way down to squad level with different independent missions and with a greater level of flexibility. A typical Soviet attack would be in three echelons. It would begin with a small combat reconnaissance patrol, CRP. It would contain tanks and BMPs. After these had advanced and received fire from Allied positions, thus revealing where these were, the next echelon, a combined arms company or forward security element, FSC, would roll forward. They could be a T-64 or T-72 platoon with a BMP company. And the third would be the advance guard, or main body, AGMB, the full force of the Soviet armor rolling on identified Allied positions and in mass, with reserves available nearby, under cover of sometimes artillery, but definitely mortars. The advance guard is rolling in order to identify Allied positions and elements of strength, and identify lanes of advance where these Allies might not be able to see a Soviet advance. Remember, this is the Cold War. There are no drones flying overhead. The FSC would then follow through the lanes identified by the CRP as dark to the Allies' vision. Also, the CRP would deploy forward observers who would now begin to call in mortar fire on Allied positions which were identified. The two advance elements' task was to shape the battlefield for the main body, who would then line up abreast to present maximum firepower on Allied positions, and the tanks would roll forward together on line. The Soviet plan is set, but still flexible. However, all contingency plans were also preset, so at all times the battalion would know what to do if it was led well, and the Allied forces would constantly have to react to Soviet pressure. The Allies knew quite well of the dangers of the Russian armor, so they placed focus on a great number of attack helicopters and man-pads. The Soviets knew that well, so placed a great emphasis on ground-to-air missile systems and their rocket forces. Both parties also, of course, developed electronic countermeasures, air-to-ground assets, and mobile artillery. The Soviets looked at warfare from the perspective of science. If they had 3 to 5 times more of everything than their enemy, mathematically, they would dominate the battlefield. And of course, everybody had developed tactical nuclear weapons, as it became obvious after the Cuban Missile Crisis that there needed to be an alternative to all-out nuclear war. These could be deployed faster by the Soviet armies than the Allies, as NATO needed all members' consent to use nuclear weapons. Things just move faster in an autocracy, as we can clearly see today in the bureaucratic West, leaving Western nations incapable of any swift action. So, what are we doing today? We're going to go visit 3 different former Soviet Cold War bunkers that are all part of the missile forces. Their main radio bunker, their command bunker, and the bunker of the rocket forces. They're all hiding in forests outside Berlin in what used to be the former East Germany. They're this far forward because the Russian doctrine based on the preconceived notion that everybody accepted that the Russians would roll forward and their war would be in front of them. So they placed forward headquarters, bunkers, installations as close to the next front as they could, with much larger bunkers like Falkenhagen slightly further behind them to direct the overall war. There are thousands of Cold War bunkers hiding in the forests around former East Germany, and when they left in the 90s, a few people started slowly cataloging and logging them. A few explorers died as they found explosives left behind and played with them. One of the historians, Thomas' acquaintances, he managed to log almost all of them, but then he died mysteriously and his notes disappeared. So we're back to doing it ourselves. Only few people know these woods, as well as Thomas, and of course, Bunker Dog Paula.
On these beautiful summer days, walking through the woods, we come across the first thing. And if you look real careful, you see the blue paint inside? That's Russian, post-World War II. This is the entrance to the training area. And as it is tradition with the old German proving grounds, after the Cold War began, it turned into Russian proving grounds. And I am shocked to see a Russian-built building where the bricks are not stapled on top of each other in straight rows. This actually looks like a fairly decent construction. There must be some secret here.
Yeah, from the crew, from the bunker crew.
So this is the peacetime barracks.
Yeah.
See more houses over there. The dog sees it too.
Das ist nur Communication Zentrale für Wünsdorf. Wir haben Kabel nach Wünsdorf, beziehungsweise die sind dann hierher, um mit den anderen Truppenteilen zu kommunizieren. Und das sind die Staff Buildings. Die können ja nicht immer nur im Bunker sein, die müssen ja auch hier oben leben.
So everything they needed for survival and building to the bunker was only in case of war.
Yeah.
Otherwise were they in Sussund? They would come from here, and then they would move into the forests if there's a.
Yeah.
I said this is the kind of infrastructure I'm always looking for. When I know there's something underground that's significant, there has to be something above ground, like I thought I was going to see at the last tunnel system. We started by seeing control access point, and now we're starting to see some of the fairly decently built Russian buildings. What is that? Is that power station?
Yeah, maybe a water pump.
There's chimneys. There's a lot of stuff on the roof of this. Huh. I was curious what this is. That little thing? That's weird. Oh. So a lot more hiding out here than I thought. That looks like there would have been I keep thinking flagpole. So you had, this is the building I wanted to see. Looks like a technical building. And I would say generators. And there's plenty of mounts in the floor. But this is sort of what you expect to see. Bathroom here. There's a dog. Huh. Hey, dog. That is an antenna mount, just like the Germans had during the war. But this was a communication station, so there would have been an antenna. Do you think the antenna was on? And there's another one. This is just like the German ones during the war.
Ja.
The one for the SS communication bunker of Karas. So do you think this was the antenna? Sitting on this mount?
Maybe some, yeah.
Huh. This was not a terrible construction. The bricks are only slightly crooked and out of skew. Hang on, puppies. I don't know what's in here. Crap is in here. Technical tunnel. Rooms for work. Pastello blue paint. What do you think, puppies? Oh! Gonna go through the front door? Oh, hi, puppies. Puppies happy? What are you doing? So these were the rooms for the crew. That was serviced the huge, basically an engineering bunker, where all the machinery, there's a puppy dog here, with the machinery for the antennas. The antennas, what did you find? Did you find anything in here? Did you find anything in here? You found the bathroom. Bathroom and showers. No, come on. Paula, come on. Woof, 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 woof. Well, I'm praising this glorious Russian construction, but all right. And the technical building there. Nice detail on the walls here, honestly. Not a lot left of these buildings, bathrooms. This will be where the crews would live and the day-to-day work. They wouldn't work in this bunker. That was just technical for the generators, the power, the computers, and then they will run from there to the actual antennas in the forest. Although there certainly is a technical component to these rooms. Unless that was just drainage. And there's no door. So this is the infrastructure. Now let's see what they're hiding underground. And here's the water reservoir next to the... And here's the bullfrogs that are now about to be preyed upon by a, well, I guess a thirsty dog. Don't inhale the mosquitoes. I think I know what you mean by the not easy way.
No, you can't see.
Oh, you didn't want to throw me through the ventilation tower?
No.
Aha, okay. These are ventilation towers, aren't they?
Yeah.
So this is not even underground. This is just, they built it and then they covered it up.
Yeah.
So those two are ventilation towers. Is that a service building or is that a tower too?
No, they have a lot of heat from the von diesen Funkgeneratoren. Die haben sehr hohe Leistung und haben sehr viel Wärme produziert. Das musste alles gekühlt werden, diese Funkanlage da drin. Die haben
so ventilation isn't enough, it needs to be cooled as well.
Ja.
Of course, computers and radios and electronics.
Ja.
Yeah.
Hier, wir gehen so hin.
I mean, at least even early computers. But this is a pretty substantial piece of something from the outside. Oh, there's a little something right there. Support building, or so would they have trenches around this as well, or are we too far inside the area?
Ja, hier ist everything. Ich war das letzte Mal vor 3 Jahren hier.
It's pretty damn big. Tar paper over red brick. Not the best protection in the world. What is this, just support building?
Ja, ich glaube, da war für Strom
Yeah, this is just one small little room with nur ein Zimmer, Kleinzimmer, with 2 ventilations. And you would think they could probably roll stuff in and out of here. But this is not what we're looking for. What we want is much bigger. And there was drainage. So there was bathrooms inside. It was a beautiful thing. Lots of holes here on the side. I wonder if there was something placed here that somebody dug out. You really see how high up we are. We're a good 20 meters off the floor of this forest here. Wonder why they didn't just dig it in a little. Let's see inside. I see a vertical climb down.
For people who have birthday.
Birthday weigh-in. I see.
No problem.
Actually, no, it's not as bad as I thought. Except it looks wet down there. One hatch. Was this emergency, or was there an antenna or something? No, it was emergency. Huh. I like those U-boat-like hinges. Interesting that they built brick around it, but there's cement inside that. And that will be the easy non-birthday weigh-in. They look very original. Hey, puppy. So does that, and the damn book better be open. Door number 2.
Moment.
Let's see what we'll see. Now, we see a mess, but yeah, the doors are missing. This is where the ventilation would have been. Or exhaust for the machine room. I wonder how these are connected. Ooh, okay. With large pipes. I wonder how this is connected differently than the bunker at the radio station. At the airport. I wonder how this is connected differently than the bunker by the airport. Well, technical tunnels. Nothing changed since World War II. So this was communication. So obviously I'm expecting to see a lot. Actually, I was expecting to see 2 floors. This was so damn tall. Ooh, this is nice. So I'm seeing 3 different types of pipes for ventilation. Now we know, because of all the machinery they had in here, it was very hot in here and that had to be cooled down. So I wonder if they also needed heating, if that was actually necessary. Was it necessary to cool this place, given how much heat was generated from the communication equipment? There's a lot of ventilation going on in here. All right. Now, I wonder if they separated this, as I'm seeing the end of the hallway. I expected them to have done. Well, toilet, sink. We're going to take them one at a time. And people have been drinking in here. And for some reason, every time I need a Russian this time, I keep finding women's shoes. Don't know why the women Russian soldiers at some point abandoned all their shoes and went home. There's a joke about women fighting wars to protect their shoe collection. But we're just going to leave that to you guys and your imagination. Here's something that doesn't stretch across the room. Just don't know what that was. Huh. No ventilation in these. And still, I don't see a second floor. That really does look like wallpaper, doesn't it? And here's the ventilation pipes. But there are no actual vents into this room either. I am imagining this is a technical section of the bunker, which is why there's two different floors, or two different entrances, sorry. Well, that's why somebody covered up the technical access. Oh, wow. Oh, there's a lot of stuff in here. And this is where the ventilation is coming through. All right, so this will be the air filtration room. There would have been air filters if this is the air coming from the outside. And then there will be arrows on some of this, indicating the direction of airflow. But there's a lot of, there really is a lot of ventilation running through this. This just could have been the fuel tank. There's no ladders down there. Could have been a refilling pipe from somewhere. But it doesn't smell of fuel. It could also just be the water. Since there was a lot of cooling necessary, it could easily have been condensation, water drained. I actually thought these were filters, but they're not. That door is airtight. That makes sense. And again, if I follow the blue, I'm imagining that will be the fresh air. I'm trying to keep an eye on where I'm going. I'm going to cheat and go through here. Because there's a staircase, so I don't have to jump down. Yay. But see, this is, okay, it's pretty hardened, but this would have been waterproof or airtight. This would have been an airtight door. Oh, ow. Two generators on mounts, I'm imagining. Pretty dark, and there could have been a fire in here, post fact. All right, so that's not what I'm looking for. There's only one room, one way in and out of this machine room. I find that a little strange, I suppose. All right. Well, I guess you can't take it with you. You just leave it behind. Been interesting to see photos of this when everything was intact and running, but somewhere, somebody restored this, or some one of these type bunkers. They must have done. And the scrappers were here. Shocking, but not really. Oh. So now we're actually, this seems to be the technical tunnel, the technical side. Now we're getting into the actual blast doors or 3 airtight doors here. They're still opening and closing. And here's the last heavy blast door. I'm going to say last, I'm thinking might be the first, because this may actually be the door that wasn't open. This is the outside door that I couldn't open from the other side. And here's another one of these heavy steel blast doors the scrapper did manage to get out. But yeah, this was the outside. Typical physical mechanical lock. And then you go into the bunker here. Something was hiding behind the door. I was starting to worry how on earth that could just be one technical bunker without. Now, this is what I'm looking for. Stuff. So, one blast door, another steel door, and then steel doors into either side. This is electrical switches, looks like. And the back of the panel, I think this is the back of the panel. Basing that on nothing. A lot of equipment was in there. A lot of cables ran through there. And I knew it was the back of the panel because this is the front of the panel. And here are the switches. All right, one would almost think I've seen this before. I mean, last time this saw any kind of activity was at the end of the Cold War, so 30 years ago. So this is 30-year-old technology. It probably would still run, honestly, if it had been maintained. Well, the graffiti guys found this place. But it's not as bad. It's not as bad as it could have been. Okay, now the ceiling has also come down. So that's telling me there's an upper floor. 2 more steel doors. Rubber seals. Oh, and a sofa. We'll just put that to the side for now. Interesting. And this is where that ventilation line ends. Oh, and this is of course why there was a second floor. Go up there in a minute. And somebody been drinking. What a shock. All right. I'm thinking these are mounts. Can't have been generator mounts. These cement foundations. I wonder why. So this would have been the situation room. And beyond that door is the emergency hatch. That's solid. Okay, now what could possibly go wrong? Go up here. Let's see what we'll find. The very end of the ventilation shaft and a keg of Heineken. This is just the ventilation funnel. So this was the key room. That's the, what's that? That's just a room, looks like a room. I didn't come through. Ventilation. And a ventilation out. Funny, there's no mirrors on, no arrows on this. I wonder if this was, again, there's nowhere to climb in and out. I wonder if this would be a tank. I have again a slight whiff of fuel. So this is the room where work would actually take place. See the lines coming down there. 2 workstations on the wall. And so this really only was practically one story. I wonder how thick the roof is. I swear there's more space in here dedicated to the ventilation of this bunker than there seems to be to the actual function of it. I know that's not how you walk down a ladder. So, let's do it correct. Where's the room behind this? There's no, look at the rivets. The rivets here sort of tells me this is where there was, I think there was a tank in there. This doesn't look like a solid wall. Well, that's a solid something. Something was once burning in here. So that is the main entrance through these steel doors. This one right here. And And down the technical hallway. Past the machine room. There's more machine room than there's equipment in here. That's actually very weird. These are also interesting. All right, graffiti dudes have painted these, I get it. The pipe ends. The block pipes going into the wall. Hi, puppies. Huh.
It was for the longest time claimed that there were new nuclear weapons under Soviet control in Poland and East Germany. Well, we know there were in Poland, and I've seen the bunkers and the storage facilities of the nuclear weapons there myself. Question is, how far forward did nuclear weapons get stored in the former East Germany? Still today, most of it's denied, but it seems quite plausible that at least tactical nuclear weapons were forwardly positioned here. And just like all smart armies, the Soviets used the terrain, nature, natural-looking obstacles, such as stables of wood, to camouflage entrances to their bunkers, and sometimes even bigger. They would use staples of wood piled together to camouflage the missile silos themselves further back.
And an adjacent forest that is really unnervingly flat. Something else is hiding. I'll just let the man who knows and the dog take the lead while I'm crossing the remains of a cement beam and some barbed wire. That should give away that there's something out here. So, he says this is the first entrance. You get a cookie if you can actually. I swear that man has X-ray vision. But I'm going to follow this man. Well, I figured we were standing on top of something. At least there's a protrusion amongst all these pointy, spiky plants of death.
It's still in good condition.
I'm glad. What is it? Oh, what? Oh. That actually is in good condition.
Yeah. No dings, no hits.
Oh, we can have a bolt. Yeah.
Nice.
I figure we're standing on top of something. I don't even know what we're standing on top of. You don't get my attention with huge bunker, but sometimes background information is good. This is is this camouflage? Or did somebody just
wood for camouflage, yeah.
But it is part of the camouflage, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's no real wood stick.
That's actually quite brilliant. Alright, this is really exceedingly cool. It is very cool. And these steps are just as terrible. And you look at this, it is a fake wood pile. And I thought somebody covered it up. Well, I don't see any other way in there but to go in there. And say hi to all the mosquitoes. Alright, this is a lot deeper than I thought. Oh, this was a bit of a staircase. I got a steel door here.
There's very little footage of the completed Russian installations, headquarters, their missile launch offices and command centers. This is what these would have looked like based on the little footage that has snuck out of the Soviet Union over the years.
Although there used to be a peephole. Alright. This is different than what we're used to seeing with the rounded blast doors. Wow. There's one of the rounded blast doors. Why is that here? Is that for the electronics? Well, okay, and I'm going to say electronics. So, I mean, I hear the Geiger counters coming. And it's just going nuts. I don't know why is that. So, filtration room. This leads up to the air intake. Why is the Geiger counter going off? Why is the Geiger counter going off in here?
The counter?
But yeah.
It's radon gas.
Radon gas? Oh, okay, well that's no problem.
It's heavier than normal air, so it collects down here.
Oh my.
In our mountains, there's a health problem because it came from the basement upstairs and it can cause cancer. So after smoking, it's the second reason for cancer.
And radon is the first?
No, smoking.
Smoking. So the radon is the second?
Yes.
Ah, well that's...
It's the second cause for cancer.
And we're standing in the middle of it with a Geiger counter. Okay, that's nice. This is a front room. Oh, well, there's a window in the door. Haven't seen that before. That's certainly a different detail. So this would be the main communication bunker in case the Cold War went hot for the Western Front. And when I say Western Front, I mean the Russian Western Front. Communication for ventilation for people, not heavy machinery, electrical plugs, and apparently an abundance of radon gas. Oh well. That's different. I've not seen an actual, it's an actual window sill here. I mean, for passing orders, these are quite big. I'm gonna go with kitchen. Let me see, there wouldn't be wallpaper in the damn kitchen, would there? Don't see any ventilation for stove or anything. I suppose it could be in there. This looks like wallpaper. Hello, do you come here often?
Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
I think the park is upstairs. These are interesting, these big windows.
That is the main room behind it, I think.
Oh, so this will be passed information in through.
Yes.
And here I am looking for a kitchen like an idiot.
The biggest room in that.
So I'm guessing this is the staircase up to, situation room. This is a heavy damn staircase. Oh, okay. Let me brighten this up for you. This doesn't mean much to you until we look behind the table here. Let's crack into the room in there that's below us. I am wagering this table was always here. And there's ventilation dedicated to this room. And the filters we saw in the first room. And there and below us is the main room. This room. Oh, all right, this is a big room. So these are the grooves above, and there's the windows. I wonder if there would have been a map or something that would have been backlit in here. Some electricity going on here. Wow, so this would be where the map would have been here. Yeah, there would have to have been. Yeah, there's a table like this upstairs as well.
It's called situation room.
The situation room, yes. And there's a table like this upstairs as well. It is.
Up to 20 persons can leave on.
Oh, you think it's one of those famous multitasking Russian tables of sleeping as sleeps 20? So. Something was bolted in there. Screwed, nothing heavy, but something was screwed in there so you could service the situation room. I'm imagining information would have been passed through. Oh, these bright Russian colors.
Let me guess, green or yellow?
Yellow. Yes, you know, it just denotes happiness and joy. It was such happy times.
The ceiling is much higher than in an old building.
Well, you are very tall. So up here's another, let's call it a situation servicing room. Every time you have a situation room, you have all these affiliate services, radio intelligence, you have communications coming from everywhere. So all the information can be gathered together and presented to the commander in one room. So you'd have command and control, you'd need to talk to your close defensive forces. You would need to talk to the forces on different other fronts. You need to talk to your main command. So you have all these different entities that will communicate outside of this room, and depending who you want to talk to or send orders to or get orders from is depending on what window you go to put it in a very rudimentary way, but you know what I mean. So I'm just wondering if there are projections from here onto the screen below here. But you all seen Battle of Britain, you would have the big table, situation table, where all these pretty British auxiliaries would, or Air Force officers, ladies, would keep moving little flags indicating friendly forces, enemy forces on the table. And then you've seen the bigger situation rooms where it started happening with computers and everything happened almost real time. This is still 30 years plus old, which means it could very easily have been built 40 years ago plus. I don't know if it was upgraded or what happened to it in that period. So this is still probably 40-year-old technology. So how would they project information from here onto the main room? This is something that would be interesting to ask a Russian soldier about. And there is no writing on any of the walls. There's nothing, which I actually find quite strange. No information, no, nothing. And this is sort of more like this is more a command center that is reinforced. But as you saw when we came in, there was no heavier, larger than life glass doors or anything like that. Smallest steps in the world. I am somehow guessing this staircase was not the heaviest trafficked one in the world. You go up there, you stay up there, you come down, you come down. It's not something that have people running up and down from constantly. This is pretty damn big. Offices, glass doors, nothing in here is gas proof. Ah, there's the window. I do understand. You have orders passing through there, through here. Although I would almost think, depending how the command structure is set up, and if this was the command for a Western front, was this I actually don't know this, that's why I'm just talking out loud. I don't know if this was a combined forces headquarters, or if this was Russian army, Russian command for that, like in World War II, was there's a front command, which is what it sounds like, which means there would be some dudes in here who would actually command all the forces at their disposal facing westward from here. Did the Russians use a unified command system, an entire front command like World War II? So here they would guide all forces? Or was it just Army, Air Force divided, or how did they do that? In my time, I was far more occupied with the lower level Russian organizational structure of their tank forces, land forces, tank units, how they would operate, the individual assault groups, the battle vehicle, the vehicles. That's was sort of what I was dealing with, what the armor, the unit, the unit on unit capabilities. The higher up Russian command structure was never really something I dove into post World War II. And pre-World War II, it was very simple. Stalin did it. You're sitting there clicking away, are you?
That's a nice technical room.
It is a nice technical room with nice filters and everything. Everything's in good shape too.
Oh, the blower. Oh, someone take the motor out.
Shocking. Oh, and here's the arrow that will denote the direction of the airflow.
So I guess the outer filter is somewhere here.
No, that would be that leads into the building. Look at the arrows. These are the arrows leading into the building. So you're starting here from this red thing, and then it would come down here, and then it would go through here, and then it would go up here, and then it would be dispersed to the buildings.
Here's the distribution line.
Exactly. You can literally follow the arrows from the air from the out. It's actually very clever. But it's interesting, in this bunker, it is also the only place there's actually any writing, because there's no writing on any of the walls and anything anywhere.
The arrows, I see. I should start learn to read.
Huh. All right, let's walk through the directional airflow. Up here would be another air intake, and this would come down through here to note the arrow. The airflow would then could be shut off in various places, run through these, through here, and then up through it into the building. Except there's a component missing. The air filters, or the gas, nuclear, the filters need to have been attached somewhere. I would imagine here, because they are already there and connected to that. Okay, all right, okay. See, I get it now. There's the two directions here. This would just have been clean air from the outside when there's no war going on, straight up into the world, or the bunker. And from this one, if there was war, they would shut one side off and it would go through here and through the filter system, which would be here, and then up to the ventilator and into the bunker. So you had an option of using a filter in the air going to the bunker or not. Without making you too dizzy, I hope that makes sense. Although, I've never seen expiration dates on any of these filters, which is kind of weird. What do we have here? So, and also the filtration rooms are the only places I see with these really heavy bunker doors. Now I'm curious as to this one. Oh, that's not going anywhere. What's in there? I feel air coming in from here. So that is another exit that had been closed. And an arrow up from here, which is interesting. the other entrance with an arrow leading up, which actually is interesting. I don't know why. Oh, and here's another one of the gas filters sitting here. I don't think it belongs here by any stretch of the imagination. I am guessing secure communications. I would be guessing this is a, what do we have here? It doesn't feel like this is sound insulated to the tune of having secure communication going on in there. There'll be that little room. Oh, I actually see something written on the wall. Voltage. Not the Muppet I was looking for. Okay. That used to say something. These never seen an expiration date on these, which I suppose would be a little troubling. But here, my one of my favorite rooms in the house, a toilet. Well, and somebody stole the sink. I wonder where the food would come from. I am assuming the Russians was planning on feeding their soldiers, especially their command. There's a technical tunnel there. No specific. All this cables coming out of the wall here. Quite a lot of electronics or electrical. I would imagine there'll be a machine room, but honestly, there's so far no room for fuel tanks or anything like that, any infrastructure for generation of electricity, even backup. So far, no. There's nothing I have seen that'll indicate they could generate their own electricity here or food. This is another technical tunnel. That runs under the floor. Remnants of cabling. Yeah, it's running through the hallway here into that room I was in before. So if there was a technical room, I would imagine it would have been in there. Don't know why it comforts me to hear the Geiger counter go off. It must be some sort of a mental thing with me. That's interesting. Cable connector. There must have, oopsie, some sort of way of generating electric. There must have been some way of generating electricity. They cannot have expected to be on the grid in a command post in a forest in case of war and counted on outside electricity. That would be ridiculous. Even if it's a damn lawnmower. There were cables flowing through the walls. Flowing through the floors, rather. Under the walls. And this is where that was. So, cables continue. And that was up there. Cables continue throughout the entire structure. There's
some broken tubes or valves, and some of them could be radioactive to ionize the air for the electrons. But these are not. It is also not. Maybe this one. No.
one thing that strikes me in here is that there's no way for this place to generate electricity.
Yeah.
There's also no place for it to generate food. And if this was a command center during the Cold War, they couldn't have relied on the grid or food delivery from outside. I mean,
It's because it's nearby a village, so they have a cable and electric station then somewhere outside.
But unless it's sitting in a bunker somewhere, you would think it should be self-contained. I mean, even in World War II, individual fighting positions were self-contained. But of course...
This is a decent place here.
It is.
Starting the party.
I mean, we're missing a man and a dog.
Yeah. 2, 3, and the fourth guest, Paula. Yeah. A lot of people say it's intimidating to prepare birthday cake, but I say it's not. When you know the anatomy of the birthday cakes. I watched too much this scary movie thing. I just pointed.
So this is how Gordon Ramsay would have done it. So bunker birthday cake.
Oh, yes. But the buns are so soft. They're handmade. You know the scary movie? Oh wait, the B for plate. And now, one really know how you celebrate your birthday. So, happy birthday, Tino. Take a strong breath. Huh?
Well, I trained chest yesterday, so I don't know if I can do it.
Yes, you did.
Now I get to eat the cookie.
Anytime, buddy. So, Thomas, let's come in now.
I know. Yeah. Are you going to call him or should I? I guess this is my third birthday in a row I get to spend in an underground bunker. Well, I think the first time was, that was Kotybna's nuclear reactor in Gotthard. Last year that was one of Kamla's underground tunnel systems, and now I'm in the Russian Cold War Command Center. We gotta have a little fun with it. Especially in a place that you sort of have to remember this would only have been put into use if things had gone really, really wrong. And honestly, when I crawl out of here, and once again I have reception, I can only look at the world and say, things are going really, really wrong. Let's hope, I was going to say, let's hope smarter people soon will take over and start thinking. Although I have no doubt that will not happen. And if it doesn't, well, I guess we'll crawl down here, close both doors, bring lots of toilet paper and lots of Twinkies, and we'll wait it out. It would be interesting to see how this looked during the time of the war. Well, when I say war, I mean Cold War. Sorry, I guess it's a force of habit crawling through World War I and World War II, but I think we can do a little Cold War every now and again because it's really not that long ago. And nothing comes from nothing. All right, now that Thomas came down to clarify, there was a generator bunker nearby, but 12 years ago that was completely destroyed and gutted. Because, well, we're in Germany, and that's what you do here, unfortunately. There's an interesting place. And all right, so you see cabling running through. Again, the whole bunker. What I'm looking for, which seems typical me, for anybody who knows me, is I'm looking for the kitchen. We established there's a bathroom, so there can also be a kitchen. Well, there should be. This is a fairly big one, bigger than I thought. I've seen those before. And that's where some of these cables are coming. I guess we can call this technical debris. Debris, just the same. Well, I hope it's not the kitchen because all I hear is to eat is paint. And an elevated, what is that? What is this? Is this wood? Maybe it was an elevated floor or something. Another large room. I mean, for command, there would be a lot of auxiliary services. Cables just crawling around. So, well, there's a can of soup. So one could say the communication could come from here. The orders would be generated here and sent through the transmission services through the forests. That was reinforced by where we were in that huge bunker where they had all the generator power to run the antenna and transmit from in case the main facilities were destroyed. Which, I mean, it was always well known that if the Cold War broke out, all units would move into the forests and here underground bunkers and forests, just away from bases, because bases would be the first obvious target of any kind of a hit. So the front room here is round, as we see some of the pipes. I'm imagining there was a peephole there, but this is not one of the heavy nuclear doors that we would see for some strange reason. I do love the staircase, although these steps are ungodly tall. It makes for a very strange step, and then they get increasingly smaller. And then we brave the swarms of mosquitoes.
You left that.
I swear to God, the things people hide in forests in the middle of nowhere.
And on that note, we went even deeper into the woods, where only mosquitoes would and did find us.
Huh?
Ja, das sind Trenches von der 9. Armee.
The 9th Army?
Ja, ja.
The Russian 9th Army.
Die glauben dir das. Film das mal.
15 by 28 kilometers of training area, first for the German Army World War II, and then for the Russian Army for many years after. A lot of things are hiding in these forests out here, which make them interesting. Oh, that's the tower. They had this fantasy that I should climb up. That was a paranoid delusion on their part. It's a cup.
Aber das ist jetzt auch der Kam-Sendung und Zustellung.
All right, so you see the asparagus sitting around here of the vehicle shelter, and there's a lot of those. So now we're coming to somewhere where vehicles would rally. Oh, this is the rocket command post. And nicely lined up on the line. And this is big enough for one of the vehicles with the rockets. And that's what the command post we were looking for was for the Russian rocket troops.
Ja.
The guardhouse?
No, it's an entry.
Oh.
This is entrance for birthday players.
Oh yeah, I see the ventilation. Oh. No, there's a ventilation sitting right over there. So you know, this is the right entry. Oh. This is the way in. Oh. Shit sack. Oh, fuck, I'm getting out of here. We're out of here. Holy shit. Look at that. There's a couple more mushrooms sitting in their ventilation.
This was a very nice little location, and we had to take a break because not far from the entrance to the bunker, we found a newborn deer. But the mother had been scared away by our presence, so we hastily retreated so she could reunite with her calf.
Is this a trench or was that something else?
No, there was a cable.
Oh, somebody dug up the cable.
Yeah.
So there's a connection from here to the rocket teams. Of course. That's the wrapping around it. So this is the world-class entrance.
Give me. With grace, of course.
Oh shit. Jesus Christ.
Buy the big piece out of me.
I almost ate 4 of them. That was a nightmare. Alright. These are...
looks the same distribution part here.
Yeah. This is in very good shape.
Yeah. Fillers are still complex. And the fan is also almost complete.
Almost. Yeah, these are... I think everything's sort of... Yep. Everything is still there. And of course there's no expiration date, which is always troubling. For the ventilation.
Massa 61 kilogram. Well, 60 kilos.
Of air?
So this one is 61 kilogram.
I'm lying, there is a date. 6/1984. Well, I guess we know when they changed.
Kilogram.
Oh. I guess we know when they changed the filters last. Used to be.
Wow. Cable left.
Well, he wasn't kidding when he said snakes.
The left one.
There really is a lot of stuff left.
Looks like a breaker cabinet, but it's all
It is.
fuses.
Those fuses I grew up with, those same fuses, well, you grew up with too. Oh, hell, you still have those fuses in your house, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, my mom had a fuse cabinet just like this in the hallway.
I guess there are some blown fuses inside.
Well, you know. Bright green colors. Not a joke, really. Look at that. What'd you find? You know, this door is crooked. Come look at this. You see how this wall is pregnant? How do you actually, there's a door. I'm curious, how do you close the door? Because this is just bulging. There is a door. Let's see if this will actually, it does close.
Hello.
Yeah. It actually does close. But it's still built pretty crappy. Wow.
The door sheet is also pillow shaped. Yes.
Yes, it is. Well, quality, you know, we have to get it built quickly and cheaply. So I'm imagining they were sitting in here with tables in front of each of the outlets.
It's Friday.
Oh, yeah. This is such a cheerful, bright color, though, green, isn't it?
The color looks really fresh here.
It really does. Everything in here looks... Have you been here before?
Yes.
Oh. Well, in that case, everything is just a surprise to me then.
You come here often.
Every Saturday, sailor.
It's all reverb or echo or...
Well, we can break into song and see how the acoustics are. Here the paint looks much worse for some reason. I wonder if there's more moisture in one part. No, now you can bring a sample and then you can have your house painted that color. Yeah, but that could, I guess that could be, yeah.
When there are only chairs in the room and one guy from the other end is talking to the other guy, no one can hear what the other says. It's impossible.
Well, I wonder if there was any insulation, I was going to say on the ceiling, but there wasn't because that's where the lamps are. And even here, the walls are so... I mean, look, did you notice this wall? Look at how crooked this thing is. You think you have construction problems? This is ridiculous.
It's handmade.
It must be this must be plaster on... It's not even on brick. I mean, what the... I mean, they must have built these really quickly and cheaply. But they had a lot of them, I guess. I just keep thinking there must have been some sound insulation equipment somewhere. Ooh. Another ventilation. I think it's doors are here, the colors are here. I mean, this could be repurposed for a wine cellar if it wasn't wherever it is. What are you doing? Okay, you sound surprised and curious. Now I'm curious.
Water drops at the tap. The tap is dropping. Look at this.
Holy shit. Wow.
Wow, fresh.
Well, I've been 30 years
Oh
old.
no. Blah.
Well, I mean,
This smells like
but does it actually open?
maybe someone pissed in this?
I mean, it's forest runoff and the pipes are rusty and...
No, this looks like sewers. Blah.
So that runs into a sink, into a bucket? I mean, look,
The sewers is down there.
look at this drain. Almost looks like it's from a mask from the gas mask.
Yeah.
And you know what?
It feels fatty. That's strange.
Toilet there. So they had the stand-up crappy toilet
Blah.
with a flush. Why that? What?
Ah.
There can't be a flush. There must have been a regular toilet then. This cannot have been for feet. This can't just have been a hole because there's a pull and...
Too much volume. So they pumped this out with their trucks.
But if you just have a hole to crap in, like they did sometimes, why would you need a flushing?
Maybe here. Ah, yes.
Yeah, you see what he says for the feet? That doesn't make sense.
The flushing comes out here, and here was the shit bowl. Here feet.
I remember crapping in old Russian toilets like this in military barracks there, and there was literally just a hole straight down with nothing to flush anywhere. But what a nice door design! It has a kind of a garden feel to it.
Maybe first it was without the plate, and then they know, oh, everybody sees me shitting, and then they mounted the plate on the rods. Yes.
That's how, yeah. And that was the door that was closed from the other side. And if I'm not mistaken, that's bullet holes in this door.
Oh, right.
That's kind of strange. Nobody would be target practicing in here unless they had, well, less than half a brain. Oh, how delightful, another dish green color from, well, I guess it was repainted a few times. But they just built this and then they covered it up with a little bit of dirt. Not much. This is not very deep. But at least they pulled out decently. It hasn't been destroyed in a lot of ways. I mean, even the lights are still here. Regular run-of-the-mill neon lights. Huh.
What's this?
That thing?
A bug's nest?
It has almost have a metallic feel to it. I have no idea. Are there strange alien bugs in here? I think the two ventilations were separate of one another. This looks like a different system.
Outside, because
Yeah.
needles from the trees.
Oh, you know what this is? This is the non-emergency air. There would be one filtration that would just pull in regular air in peacetime. And then you would have another filtration. In the other bunker, you could switch over from peacetime to going through the filters. Here, this is probably the peacetime. The other one is where the filters are. So there wasn't a switchover. There was just the filtered.
Okay.
Oh God, we're doing the bug's nest.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not for kids, that thing. Wow, the mosquitoes in this place is absolutely insane. Look at this. You let me know when you're clear and I'm just gonna thunder out there. You good? The air is literally thick of mosquitoes. This is the worst thing I've ever seen here. Damn, where's my American chemicals? All right. Yeah, I think I ate 3. All right.
Over the latter years, you all requested I spend more time in Cold War bunkers and installations, and I have, and I think it's important because, well, the Cold War seems to be hastily revisiting us in current day affairs, and it's interesting to learn from the Soviet doctrine as we see it was played out in Ukraine in the war there, and how it's coming apart when faced with a Western Army style fighting full of initiative, and how they are learning, adapting, We're looking at a new war, but is still to some degrees grounded in the doctrines of the Cold War. Stay tuned for a lot more.
Behind me is Vanna von Braun's first test stand. Down the road is Deepness nuclear reactor. Over there is the Maginot Line and all its amazing forts. I'm visiting them all and I'm bringing them to you. So I really appreciate you like, follow, and share what I'm doing, trying to document all these important historical locations. And if you feel like you want to watch more pictures or documents that I use for these, go to lostbattlefields.com. And if you feel like helping me out with my travels, because gasoline and travel and airfare is expensive, my PayPal is there, protectionserviceint.com. You are more than welcome, but you don't have to. I appreciate all your support and all your help, and I love seeing these locations, and I love bringing them to you.